Namaskar. Welcome back to the Grantha Yatra series. It is said that some books narrate history while others create it. One book that was fortunate to do both is a play called Raigadaala Jevha Zaag Yete, or When Raigad Rose from Slumber, written by Vasanta Kanetkar. Today in the 51st episode of Grantha Yatra, we are going to discuss this famous play. Kanetkar was born in the year 1922 in the Rahimatpur town of Satara district. Poet Girish, who belonged to Ravikiran Mandal, was his father. After completing his masters in English literature, Kanetkar taught at Hansraj Pragji Thakursi College in Nashik for many years. He began his literary career by writing short stories and novels. His novels Home, Wings, and Orphan display qualities such as the variety of topics, dramatic narratives, and revelation of subtle emotions, which later became hallmarks of his plays. Kanetkar went on to write several famous plays. Many of these, such as Punishment for the Fool, Color of Love, Matsyagandha, Tears Turn into Flowers, So Many Children, I Want to Say Something, and Shadow of the Himalayas, are popular even today. The play When Raigad Rose from Slumber, that won the Sangeet Natak Academy Award, was written in 1961. It tries to explore the emotional relationship between the father-son duo of King Shivaji and Prince Shambhuraje or Sambhaji, the two leaders who are compared to heavenly incarnations. Kanetkar's preface to this play, written in the Shivaji era language, is noteworthy. Addressing the readers as his master, Kanetkar writes that he decided to write a play on the life of King Shivaji and Sambhaji, knowing the deep respect for them in the minds of his readers. In the opening scenes of this play, Princes Shambhuraje and Ramraje have left the fort of Raigad at night without informing anyone and have not returned even by the morning of the following day. As a result, Queen Soyrabai is greatly worried and complains to the chief of the army, Hambir Rao Mohite, who is also her brother. But more than the anxiety for the welfare of the princess, she is apprehensive that her own son Ramraje would be spoiled in the company of the older prince and her stepson Shambhuraje. Kanetkar thus very cleverly underlines in the very opening scene the root cause of the emotional storm that is to follow later. Hambir Rao even warns Soyrabai, "Sister, these are not good signs. I hear some very different kind of steps." Soon it becomes apparent that Soyrabai is not the sole opponent of Shambhuraje. Ministers Annaji Datto and Moropant also show disrespect to Sambhaji. Sambhaji's wife Yesubai tries her best to bridge the gap between the two factions. When King Shivaji comes to bid goodbye to Queen Soyrabai and the princess before setting out for a campaign against Karnataka, he has to face Soyrabai's wrath. His love for his two sons and his faith in the courtiers is shadowed by Soyrabai's jealousy and Shambhuraje's short temper. The king's anger over Shambhuraje's somewhat irresponsible behavior and his impudence creates distance between the two. But when Shambhuraje apologizes for his behavior, Shivaji Raje says, "Son, a ruler cannot get angry at the drop of a hat. You get angry very easily." Shambhuraje, "No, Abba Sahib, what I meant was..." Shivaji, "Even when one is angry, the anger should be limited to one's lips and not come from your belly." Before leaving Fort Raigad, King Shivaji finds a solution to the power struggle during his absence with great foresight. He suggests that Shambhuraje should accept the lordship of Prabhavali until his return from the campaign and set an example for ideal governance. This way, the prince who is raring to prove his mettle gets a chance to escape the stifling environment of Raigad, and the courtiers are free to carry out the day-to-day administration at the capital. Satisfied with this solution, Hambir Rao says, "Your diplomacy is unmatched, sir. How skillfully you solved the complex matter that was tormenting our brains." Shivaji, "This is not a solution, Hambir Rao. This is just the beginning of complexities. I was never afraid of the attacks by mighty enemies such as Afzal Khan or Shaista Khan. But this homegrown poisonous ivy will one day tighten around my neck. When Hambir Rao inquires the reason for the king's despondency, Shivaji says, "This Shivaji has not been fortunate to have met another Shivaji, has not been able to create another one like him. This is a great ache in my heart, Hambir Rao." When the king returns from his campaign of Karnataka, a new storm is brewing at Raigad. There are rumors that Prince Sambhaji had abducted a woman and molested her. The woman immolates herself and Soirabai insists that the prince should be punished as per the law of the land. Although there are many persons who accuse Sambhaji of the crime, none of them have any concrete evidence to prove his guilt. Finally, the king summons Shambhuraje and the following dialogue takes place. Shivaji: Raje, Shambhuraje: Ji Abba Sahib. Shivaji: It's been 2 days since you returned from Shrungarpur. Shambhuraje: Yes, Abba Sahib. 3 times I came with the intention of meeting you, but… Shivaji: But I did not meet you. Shambhuraje: Yes, Abba Sahib. Shivaji: Do you know, Raje, why I declined to meet you? Raje: Let me ask you a question. Answer carefully. What punishment should I give to a criminal who has molested a woman? Shambhuraje: If the crime is proved, there's only one punishment, Abba Sahib: death, by pushing him down a cliff. Shivaji: And what if the criminal is someone highly placed? Shambhuraje: Justice looks at the crime, not at the person. That's your own law, Abba Sahib. Shivaji: Then, Shambhuraje, I ask you for an explanation of your own conduct. A complaint has been registered at my court against you. Shambhuraje: I have no objection to face the hearing at the court, Abba Sahib. Shivaji: That is inevitable now. But you are my son. So as a father, I ask you for an explanation. Shambhuraje: Abba Sahib, I had come to meet you thrice since yesterday with the very intention of giving an explanation, but you closed your doors to me. This outwardly harsh behavior by the king creates a grudge in the mind of Shambhuraje, and he cannot understand the king's pain. On the other hand, the king is aware that he has not been able to compensate the prince for the loss of his mother's love. The king then orders Shambhuraje to spend some time with Samartha Ramdas Swami on Sajjangad. However, this angers Shambhuraje. He says to his wife Yesubai, "You will not understand the painful tale of the life of this orphan. Since the time I was old enough to understand, all I have known is the rage in Abba Sahib's eyes. What is etched on my mind is his strict discipline. What still twists in my belly is his canopy, his throne, and his insignia. When I remember the escape from Agra, my blood still boils, my head spins, my intestines tear up. I still see a young 8-year-old boy following the king through wilderness, sun and rain, day and night. Although he had fever, his feet developed big boils. He did not complain. Late in the night, everyone camped at the house of a Brahmin in Mathura. A meeting began past midnight. Niraji Pant advised, "Sir, if we are to escape safely, we must leave the prince here and ride away quickly." The boy, who was riding in half asleep in the inner room, heard that and ran out stumbling. He hugged the king and with a pitiful face implored him, "Abba Sahib, you won't leave me alone and go away, will you?" Abba Sahib did not utter a word. Releasing the embrace of those little arms with his iron fingers, he pointed towards the inner room. The little mind was scared to death. The legs of the boy, who had walked hundreds of miles without complaining, turned lifeless before reaching the inner room. The king left that night, without meeting, without saying a word. Later, the king reveals his side of the same incident to Yesubai. He reveals the deep anguish he had felt when leaving behind the young Shambhuraje. "Abba Sahib, you won't leave me alone and go away, will you?" "Daughter, When I heard those words, my crown lost its grip, my sword shivered, and I lost the strength in my legs. For a moment, I thought rather than leaving behind my 8-year-old only son in the enemy territory, let me give up my resolution, my vow, or the goal of a Hindu kingdom. But only for a moment. The next instant, I saw Raigad before my eyes. I saw the ravished homes of those friends who had laid down their lives for the sake of my word. I remembered the stern, resolute face of Ma Sahib. I thought, it would have been a different matter if only my life was at stake. But the little prince is the successor to the throne. If he were to fall in the hands of Alamgir, the kingdom would be totally uprooted. Daughter, with the sole intention of protecting my son, I ignored my mind. I pretended to be full of courage and loosened the grip of those little arms. That night, with a stern resolve, we left the prince behind and crossed river Yamuna. The lords and knights accompanying me only saw that resolve on my face. But daughter, only Mother Yamuna was witness to the tears of the suffering father in me. Elsewhere, the angry Shambhuraje joins hands with the Mughals. When King Shivaji hears this news, he is stunned but resolves to bring him back. His eyes turn moist at the fateful turn of destiny. To a surprised Hambir Rao, he says, Hambir, people say I am a divine incarnation, but calamities such as this provide a harsh reminder that I too am made of flesh and bones. I too am human. Later, the king lovingly convinces the prince to return to Panhalgarh. The prince also learns of the Mughal conspiracy to arrest him and send him to Delhi. He confesses to Hambir Rao that his fight is not with the king but with himself, his own unrestrained behavior, with a cruel destiny and with his misfortune. Shambhuraje promises King Shivaji that he would spend the rest of his life trying to please his father and in fulfilling his dreams. Yet, the king is not totally free of apprehension because he is well aware of the prince's capricious nature. Yet, he is keen to give him one chance to ascend the throne. Unfortunately, the king dies in this state of uncertainty. In the final scene of the play, Sambhaji Raje has returned to Raigad. He has foiled the conspiracy by the 8 ministers and Queen Soirabai to make Rajaram the king and has taken control of the administration. However, his mind is burning with contrition. Annaji and Moroppan tried to convince him that King Shivaji had left the decision on the successor to the ministers and that he was more inclined to make Rajaram the king. Sambhaji is pained by the thought that his father did not believe in him and that their heart-to-heart discussions on Panhalgarh were insincere. But Ram Raje saves the day by revealing the exact words of King Shivaji and clears all doubt from Sambhaji Raje's mind. Shambhuraje exclaims, I could never understand the love in my father's mind for me. This play resurrected the tradition of historical and mythological plays in Marathi that had weakened of late. The successful portrayal of emotional upheavals and stormy feelings in the minds of 2 extraordinary historical figures proved to be revolutionary in the history of Marathi theatre. However, the play was also criticized for portraying King Shivaji only as a loving father with no depiction of his stellar achievements. To tell us more about Kanetkar's success as the writer of this play, we have with us today Professor Tushar Chandwadkar.
नमस्कार मित्रांनो, या वर्षामध्ये ज्या काही श्रेष्ठ अशा मराठीतील लेखकांचं जन्मशताब्दी वर्ष आहे, यात वसंत कानेटकर या दिग्गज प्रतिभावंत अशा नाटककाराचं देखील जन्मशताब्दी वर्ष आहे. या वर्षाच्या निमित्ताने या उपक्रमात आज रायगडाला जेव्हा जाग येते, या नाटकाबद्दल मला बोलण्याची या ठिकाणी संधी मिळालेली आहे. वसंत कानेटकरांच्या नाटकाला 60 वर्ष पूर्ण झालेली आहे. मित्रांनो, काही नाटकं इतिहास निर्माण करतात तर काही नाटकं इतिहास मांडतात, परंतु ज्या नाटकाने इतिहासही निर्माण केला आणि इतिहासही मांडला अशा नाटकांमध्ये अतिशय सर्वोत्कृष्ट असं नाटक रायगडाला जेव्हा जाग येते हे सांगता येईल. या नाटकामध्ये छत्रपती शिवाजी महाराजांची आणि शंभूराजांची या बाप बेट्यांना त्यांचं ती द्वंद्व या दोन्ही भूमिका कानेटकरांनी अतिशय ताकदीने उभ्या केलेल्या आहेत. या नाटकाच्या शीर्षकाबद्दल आपल्याला एक किस्सा या ठिकाणी सांगावासा वाटतो की हे नाटक लिहिल्यानंतर याला नाव काय द्यावं अशा विचारामध्ये वसंत कानेटकर होते. त्याच वेळेला हे नाटक मास्टर दत्ताराम दिग्दर्शित करणार होते. मग मास्टर दत्ताराम आणि कानेटकर हे चहा पिण्याला एका टपरीवर बसले. त्यावेळेला दोघांमध्ये गप्पा सुरू झाल्या आणि मास्टर दत्ताराम कानेटकरांना म्हणाले, अहो कानेटकर, तुमच्या शब्दात उभा महाराष्ट्र खडबडून जागा करण्याची ताकद आहे. आणि हे दत्तारामांचं वाक्य कानेटकरांच्या डोक्यात घोळत राहिलं आणि त्यांनी ठरवलं, बस रायगडाला जेव्हा जाग येते हे शीर्षक या नाटकाला द्यायचं. मित्रांनो, या नाटकामध्ये काम करणारा जो कलावंत होता की ज्याने शंभू महाराजांची, संभाजी महाराजांची भूमिका अजरामर केली, जो एक प्रतिभावंत कलाकार म्हणून मराठी नाट्य क्षेत्रामध्ये पुढे आला, ते काशीनाथ घाणेकर. तर काशीनाथ घाणेकर हे गोवा हिंदू असोसिएशनच्या माते तुला काय हवं या नाटकात त्यांनी काम केलं होतं. आणि नानासाहेब फाटक या दिग्गज अभिनेत्याला हे माहिती होतं की हा कलावंत खूप ताकदीचा आहे आणि ह्या शंभूराजांच्या भूमिकेसाठी हा अतिशय योग्य आहे ही जाणीव नानासाहेब पाठकांना झाली. आणि त्यांनी कानेटकरांना सुचवलं की तुमच्या या महत्वाच्या नाटकामध्ये ही ताकदीची भूमिका शंभूराजांची ही हा कलावंतच करू शकेल. आणि अशा तऱ्हेने काशीनाथ घाणेकरांचं नाव पुढे आलं. काशीनाथ घाणेकरांनी केलेली शंभूराजांची भूमिका ही अतिशय महत्वाची ठरली. हा इतिहास आपल्याला माहिती. आपल्याला अजून गंमत सांगता येते की 26 ऑक्टोबर 1962 हे जे नाटक गिरगावतील भारतीय विद्याभवन येथे पहिल्यांदा साकार होणार होतं, पहिला प्रयोग होणार होता. आणि त्या प्रयोगाच्या सादरीकरणासाठी जे निर्मिती मूल्य असं भरघरी वापरलं होतं, प्रयोगादी भव्य अशी मिरवणूक गिरगावमध्ये काढण्यात आली. रसिकांच्या मनामध्ये कुतूहल तयार करण्यात आलं. हे नाटक विविध नटसंचामध्ये उभं करण्यात आलं. अशा तऱ्हेने हे जे नाटक आहे हे हाऊसफुलचा बोर्ड सतत मिरवित राहिले. आणि महत्वाचं म्हणजे आजही शहा महाविद्यालयातील तरुणांना हे नाटक त्यांच्या वेगवेगळ्या कार्यक्रमामध्ये बसवावं असं वाटतं. आजही नाटक एक स्फूर्ती निर्माण करतं, चेतना निर्माण करतं, इतकी ताकद या नाटकामध्ये आहे. म्हणून या अजरामर नाटकाला आणि नाटककार वसंत कानेटकरांच्या पवित्र स्मृतीला या ठिकाणी अभिवादन करतो. धन्यवाद.
Do read this heart-touching play which tries to search for the human dimensions of two towering figures and idols of Maharashtra through their colorful achievements. In the next episode, we shall explore yet another interesting book. Until then, keep reading.